seagulls follow trawler. It's because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea. Thank you very much.
Talking nonsense. So I thought, no, enough's enough. Why should I put up with that? Talking nonsense. So I thought, no, enough's enough. Why should I put up with that? Don't back down, double down. Don't back down, double down.
Yes, it's post-match push. It's a League Cup midweek edition. The first midweek P.M.P, I believe, since we won the title at Tannadice, Terry Rob. Is that how far back it was? Since
that's the first
fixture midweek.
That's the first midweek of the season, and the Dundee United one was the last one of last season. So yeah, other than the pre-seasons.
That's weird, eh? Because we're so used to this stage, we're caught up and all. I've got to be honest, I was quite up for it tonight, lads. I was like that, midweek game that means something. I've almost been missing my fix of that in the early matches. Anyway, welcome aboard the Boise bus. It is some post-match push. It is a Wednesday night. We won't be on overly long tonight. Everyone's got jobs and all that. And it was a League Cup job that was done today. Our first match in defence of the first trophy we won under Ange Postecoglou, easy for me to say. Still struggling with that after 12 months. But it was another 4 goals scored by a rampant Celtic side. Tonight I am joined by the face of P.M.P, Mr. Terry Robb, and Johnny Logree joins us as well. He's making more appearances than that laddie of his these days. How the devil are we, lads? He's good.
Yeah, very disappointed. 4 goals, only 4 goals away from home. What are we doing?
Slacking, mate, slacking. Yeah. Do you know what? It's getting to that stage though where you are feeling a wee bit like, it's 4 really? Is that, that? I was a bit disappointed because in the predictor, which Phil was organising, we were doing double points, I had 3-1.
So did I. I had the same.
I think I went 3-0 actually. I can't remember. I'd have to check. I think I went 3-0, but like you said, Terry, a bit disappointed. You're sitting there thinking, "Come on, get on with it. Let's get a few more goals in here." No,
I think all joking aside, I think very, very competent performance from. I don't want to call them a second string because there's plenty of players there who are good enough to be in the Celtic first team. But there was 9 changes from the weekend, and other than that one spell where we lost quite a poor goal, I thought we regrouped quite quickly after that and put the game to bed. Yeah,
I think that was really in that particular instance. That really was a case of we were just really seeing the game out. But once they scored that goal, it knocked us up a gear. But I felt up to that point that we were just there, get the job done, get back on the bus, get back home, get ready for Saturday.
I thought we looked really assured at the back when Welsh was on. I quite enjoyed Welsh's performance. I thought he was quite solid at the back. He was bringing the ball out. I know both centre halves were effectively playing as midfielders at the time. They were picking the ball up in the halfway line. They were striding forward. probably just then Jens and Starfelt, that they won't have played together. Starfelt was beating the air with the first ball, and then Jens was beaten, lost his man for the goal. But other than that, it was, as I say, a very competent performance, and all roads now lead to the weekend.
Absolutely, they do indeed. And I think today was I thought it was a bit of a banana skin. I think, when everything's going so well, you just would have loved, after having all this midweek boredom, I would have took it this week out of all the weeks so far. The other weeks I've kind of been pining for my Celtic fix, Terry. But this week I just thought I would have quite liked just the free run, going into Saturday in the back of a 9-0 win. Just let that momentum build. Let the story about that 9-0 win grow arms and legs. Let it become a monster before Saturday.
I think it's worked out. I think it's worked out okay though, because we've made lots and lots of changes. We've got minutes into the legs for the guys that haven't been playing. The likes of Ralston, he just came in there. I really enjoyed his performance as well. Just so much determination. Hasn't been playing much. You're getting minutes into those guys' legs. If any of them are needed at any stage over the coming weeks, they're going to have that 90 minutes under their belt. No injuries other than potentially Giakoumakis. I mean, I know he didn't come off, so I'm assuming he's okay. Abada also took a knock to the head, hoping he's okay as well. I think I see where you're coming from. It could have been a bit of a damp squib had we had a really poor performance or gone out of the cup or whatever tonight. But thankfully that's not the case. And as I say, we're going into the weekend with 100% record.
Yeah, you're spot on, Terry. Me and Phil had a wee bit of fun last night, sort of guessing what the potential lineup could be. We weren't far off. We were not far off in the end with what we were kind of speculating it could be, Johnny. Let's just get to the lineup, because obviously we don't do pre-match, half-time and full-time shows. We just do post-match pish, because that's who we are. So, Johnny, we were kind of reflecting now on the lineup, and when you see 9 changes, I think it's easy to go down the road of thinking, we're not taking it seriously, or that could be ammunition for Ross County, because I think this is what the squad's been getting geared up to, Johnny. We're trying to get a squad together right now where you have to have times where you need to come out, i.e. Kyogo, Jota, you need to come out, and we're putting in players of equal, or if it is lesser, fucking minutely lesser ability, and that these changes, when you make them, are going to be a bit more seamless. That's what we're looking for, Johnny. Tonight, 9 changes were made. A few debut starts. Bernabei makes his first start. Seagrass made his first start. Moy made his first start. And I'm so impressed by the depth we seem to have. I still think we'll get at least one more in the door tomorrow. Particularly, I think when you've seen Giakoumakis, the injury Terry was just touching on there, when you think, is that serious, is it not? And then you start thinking, now we need to throw Kyogo into the mix, where really you're trying to keep him probably wrapped up for the big games at the weekend and next midweek. I think that maybe struck me that we do need another forward, albeit Maeda then goes on at the second half and scores a perfect poacher's goal. The depth was really exciting, Johnny. We're now beginning to see, aren't we, what Angie's dream for this squad was, and it was to have, I think, 22 guys competing for 11 positions. I think we're getting closer and closer to that being a reality.
Yeah, you're right. Because I think we've been talking about that on the bus for the last at least 7 or 8 months, saying that we are now not we've got a man for every position, and we're getting closer and closer to it.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's a lot of teams that could make changes. And all right, we can say it was Ross County, but Ross County have given us problems in the past, in the last couple of years, haven't it?
Interesting fact, Johnny.
Knocked us out, but
Johnny, 3 times we've played them in the League Cup. They've beat us twice. It's one of the only teams that have a better record than us in any sort of competition domestically. So,
so like I was going to say, I don't think there's too many teams could make 9 changes in a competitive game like that and still come through it quite well. I mean, I don't think we were scintillating tonight. We done the job when we had to step up through the gears. We did. Let's say got the job done. Got back from the Highlands. Hopefully, all in one piece, ready for Saturday. But we are definitely heading towards at least 2 men for every position.
I think that's the key is going to be for this squad. Ange doesn't do first choice 11s, Terry. It's easy to speculate, that he's got his preferences here and there, but Ange will blow that argument up in your face within 4 weeks. He catches people out all the time. Ange is building a squad. It's as simple as that. And you know what? The like for like and ability we're now beginning to see really excites me. Any standouts from the performances last night, tonight, I should say, Terry, that you're taking that, from guys that haven't been able to feature in the start lineup up till now?
I said earlier, I enjoyed Ralston's performance. I always do. I love his endeavour. I love his determination. There was a couple of times he was driving forward and it looked as if he knocked it a wee bit too far ahead of him, and the other player was favourite to get in, but he just wasn't allowed to happen. I thought Moy had a very, very competent performance. When Moy came in, what my reaction at that time was, if we were getting the Aaron Moy that played in the English Premiership, then we were getting a very, very good player. And I don't think there was really any doubt that Aaron Moy would be good enough to play for Celtic at the level of tonight's game. I was happy with his performance. Thought he zipped the ball about quite well. A sort of range of passing, short passing, forward passing was quite crisp and quick. What remains to be seen is if Aaron Moy can do that. Should he be needed at the weekend? Should he be needed next Tuesday night? Is he able to do it at that level? I don't think there's any doubt that Aaron Moy is good enough to play at SPL or Scottish League Cup level. Is he able to go up a level? In terms of, I thought Giakoumakis, after he got that knock, I thought he was quite quiet, but he took his goal extremely well, albeit very, very disappointing. He needed 3 touches to score.
The FTF, I know.
I thought the 2 centre-backs that started the game looked quite good. They weren't under any great pressure. The one concern I would have, Siegrist. I thought Siegrist was good as well. He seemed very comfortable with the way he was being asked to play. There was a moment towards the end where he made quite a good save when he hadn't really that much to do, which is probably a skill that a Celtic goalkeeper needs to have, where you're not involved in the game for long spells, but when you're called on, you're there and you're able to gives a pull out whenever required. The one concern I do have is left back. And what I would say is Bernabei is a project. I would say that project is in its infancy. Going by what I've seen so far and going by tonight's performance, it just looked a little bit lost at times. Just a concern.
There's got to be quite a long adaptive period though when you're coming.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're coming from Argentina. You're 21 years old. This isn't a guy coming, with the benefit of the experience like an Aaron Moy's coming with. You're expecting who's sampled British football for years before, and Aaron Moy right now, as far as I'm concerned, with some elements of the support could cross the road and maybe be doing a highlights compilation of it. So I think folk are getting a wee bit carried away as well. I thought he did a good job tonight. I agree with Terry. I thought he put a very competent display. It's the best I've seen him in a Celtic shirt. I'm not blown away by it, right? I thought he did well, though. Bernabei, though, I think this guy's going to need a wee bit of slack this year. I think he's only one of, 12 players we've ever signed that are their nationality is from America, Central America, South America. I think he's only the 11th or 12th in Celtic's history. And he's made the direct route. And obviously he's probably one of the youngest as well to come from that part of the world. Obviously he's had a bit of off-field issues already. You don't know if that's impacting him. And I think Ange Postecoglou's style of play as well is going to take a hell of a lot of adapting to for the average Joe that's just joining it. I think we've seen some people take to it, with absolute ease. But I think for maybe, the likes of Bernabei coming into a new country, new environment, settling down phase, and combining that with Postecoglou's style, might just take a wee bit of adapting. I'm going to cut him some slack. And hopefully, by the way, the opportunity he got tonight shows that whatever is going on off the field isn't going to impact too heavily. I don't know what you're rubbing out there, Terry. You got a blackboard there beside you. Is that a tactics board, son?
No, I've got a bit of dirt in my laptop screen.
But Johnny,
an expensive project, though, is he not? 3.75. But I mean,
is that expensive? Is that expensive, really?
Well, for a project, maybe. But I think we're fortunate in the fact that Greg Taylor is playing quite well at the minute, so we can give him that slack, and we can hopefully by the back end of Christmas he's maybe started showing a bit more. I thought he looked all right at times tonight, but there was other times he looked well lost, I thought. There was one point he was, 20 yards behind the man in front of him who was breaking away from him. I mean, he was well clear of him. He was so far behind, it was unreal. But that's maybe just like you said, trying to get used to the pattern of play that Ange wants him to do, what we want him to do, and just the new environment. But
you know what, it might take the kid a full season even to adjust. But my only concern is if we wake up Friday morning and Greg Taylor's out for a month. Greg Taylor's out for a month. That's the one position I would be more worried about than any right now.
I think if I'm completely honest with you, Greg Taylor's been the project. I think if you actually look when he's joined, that's what you call a definition of a project sign. Now, I know I think he'd maybe even been capped by Scotland by the time he joined Celtic, and he was well versed in the SPFL. But in terms of getting up to Celtic's level and the other competitions that we play and that come on, it won't feature in. I think he's been one that we've had to kind of use as a project sign. He's in his fourth season now at Celtic, and you're beginning to see it now. It's the guy that we signed from within Scotland. So I'm going to cut Bernabei some slack. I definitely am. But does that mean we've properly strengthened that position of the park going into a Champions League season? You're not really like to question the transfer strategy, but I will. No, we haven't. Anyway, we'll move on because there was other debutants. Terry Siegrist, you've touched on already.
Yeah.
I appreciate the fact he'll be raging that he's conceded a goal in his debut. I don't think there was much he could do. I thought Jens fell asleep. Starfelt doesn't win his first header, but the boy had a run on Starfelt, to be fair as well. But what I'll also say is the save that Siegrist makes getting down to his left, and the difference with him and the Ross County keeper is where does Siegrist save go? Where does Ross County keeper's save go? Similar saves. One gets pushed back out centrally, and Maeda gives the centre halves for Ross County a 5-yard head start. It still gets in there first. And Terry Siegrist, his is a big strong hand, and he pushes it out wide. I think it's essential that Siegrist gets plenty of minutes right now. I've said my uncomfort. I'm not going to dwell on it, but I was uncomfortable with Joe Hart carrying on at the weekend with staples in his head. I think we've got a guy like Siegrist there who is more than competent at this level as well.
I think for me, probably, I'd have preferred to see Ange play it safe. All right, if Hart has said he's okay, and the doctor has looked at him and they've given the benefit of the doubt. But once you're in at half time and you're 4 goals to the good, I think you can take that precaution without reducing the standard as such. Although what I would say from a supporter perspective, I felt a lot less concerned when Joe Hart was down for 5 minutes on the weekend game than I did the game against Aberdeen last season when Joe Hart went down early in that game and we only had Scott Bain as backup.
That's true.
I feel quite relaxed with this guy. Do I think he's going to challenge Hart in the short term? Probably not. But do I think that this guy's capable of being first choice for Celtic? Yeah, he seems to be. I'm quite relaxed if he has to play any game.
Terry,
on that one with Joe Hart, I was watching him when he was getting all stapled up, and I thought he doesn't look too much out of it. He looks like he's quite with it, but when the game started, and I think he was either a pass back or it was a through ball, and he went to check, and when he basically fucked it up, I thought, oh wait a minute. Maybe we need to think about doing something here with him. And you're right, Terry. I mean, we bought Siegrist, and I think Siegrist is a good goalkeeper. I was more than happy when we signed him. And we should have said, tell you what, let's not take any chances. Especially in this day and age when there's so much talk about head injuries and concussion injuries and the effects that you've got. I mean, like say, Jeff Astel's daughter, she's forever on TalkSport talking about the injuries. Chris Sutton, who else down here talks about it a lot, but it's forever being brought up, and I think the decision should have just been taken out of football's hands, and the doctor should have said off.
I think so. I've kind of pitched that shout this week, Johnny, but I do wholeheartedly agree with you. But for fear of repeating ourselves, I know we're going to do a wee bit of a slightly shorter show. We'll move on. We've got another debutant, and we'll talk about Aaron Moy's display, Terry. Here's a couple of takeaways for it from me. I thought everything that Aaron Moy did, he did to a good standard tonight. Very good standard at times. I think he's someone that doesn't play the same as the rest of the midfielders. I think it'll be necessary in other games. I thought the reason he was included tonight was to give him minutes in his legs, as opposed to it being we need him to play against Ross County away. I think Celtic have proven that they can just go with Cal Mack as the deepest midfielder, and the likes of Hatate, Turnbull, O'Reilly. We can just buzz bomb around them. So Moy plays a different type of role. I don't know if he's always played this type of role, but very often you've seen the centre half's giving the ball, he just gives them it back. And that, for whatever reason, does give the defender that slight extra yard, extra second of time to then be able to play a better pass. It's simple things effectively that he does. I'm not going to write home about it yet. I thought he did well. I think it was an assured display. I think it's very, very difficult, though, to deny that come the second half and an Aaron Moy now in the Celtic team for an hour to 70 minutes, we're not as dynamic. We don't create as many chances. We don't play at the same pace. I think that'll be necessary in games. In fact, I've cried out for that sometimes, that we might need to be a bit more pragmatic. But so far, from what I've seen today, I've went from unconvinced by the Aaron Moy signing to I'm on the fence. I think that's progress for big Aaron Moy.
I think what was interesting was the fact that he played Moy and McGregor, but he played Moy in the deeper role and pushed McGregor forward whenever McGregor has been playing in the 6 for most of the season. I actually thought we could have rested McGregor tonight, to be honest, as well, because I'm a worrier, and I've started worrying about Saturday's game probably from about I woke up yesterday morning, and I just thought, did McGregor really need to play tonight when he never misses a game for Celtic, he never misses a game for Scotland? Although, you know what, he's the captain and he's probably the heartbeat of the side, and the lad himself's probably saying to Ange, "Don't you dare leave me. I don't want to miss games," kind of thing. But I just have this fear of somebody unnecessarily getting hurt tonight and missing out on the big games of the next couple of weeks. Whenever Giakoumakis was down and it was looking like he may have to come off, and I seen Kyogo warming up, and I'm going, surely not, because if Giakoumakis is going off injured, that immediately makes him a doubt for Saturday. If Kyogo then come on and something happened to him, you then have neither of your top 2 strikers for that game. I'd have been more inclined to switch Maeda in if Giakoumakis had to come off, bring someone else on, switch Maeda in, and then replace him on the wing. But going back
forward, Terry, forward, just quickly, I want to pick you up on that. So going forward this season, it's a long season, as you know. We're fighting on 4 fronts, still in 4 fronts. Funnily enough, out the big 3 fixtures that we've got in the next 7 days, tonight was the only time we could have exited the tournament. The other 2 will still be in those competitions. So it just shows you there was actually kind of a bit of importance and pressure on tonight's fixture that the others 2 don't quite have yet, because we could still win both those competitions and lose. Not that we will win the Champions League, but you know what I mean. But going forward, though, Terry, with that on my mind, 4 competitions that we're in, Maeda being that option as the next striker, are you confident with that? Do you think the next 24 hours Celtic could bring in another striker? I think they should.
I don't think we will. I'm going to put my neck in the block. I don't think we will. I think Ange will feel that he's got enough with Maeda, Abada, potentially Hacksaw as a he's played there before as well, and that's one just to pick up on as well. He did sort of cameo at the end, but he didn't half look impressive coming on. Looks like someone who can definitely fit into the style that Ange wants to play once he gets up to speed. I don't think we'll bring in another striker. I think he'll be happy with his 2 main options, with 3 sort of makeshift options that can fill in if required.
Do you think the clue's in the number 9, Terry? That he might get used up there?
I don't think so. I don't pay
much
into these numbers. I don't think they're as important as they were. I mean,
as they were. I agree.
Yeah, I don't think they're important.
I know what you're saying.
Do you not think with a Jetty being moved on today, then they might bring in another striker with a Jetty having moved on?
Well, that's what I'm trying to get at. I think right now, Ange doesn't go for out and out. Giakoumakis must be the only one out of all our forward players. I've thought of this before. He's the only one that can only play one position. See when you actually think about it, Johnny. I think you've got Maeda, who we've seen play as in the number 9 role when by default at times, yes, but he's obviously equipped to play there. He's played right, he's played left. You've got Jota, who plays right or left, and easily, in my opinion, could be our number 10, easily when it suits him. O'Reilly maybe doesn't play another position, but in general, and Haksabanovic, we expect to see through the middle, coming from the left, probably the right. Forrest he's used on the right and the left this season already. I mean, Abada we've seen on the left before. He's definitely prefers it on the right. I think these guys, I think it's all about versatility. I wonder if within that group he goes, okay, Kyogo and Giakoumakis, the obvious two number 9s, but if they drop out, it'll be one of those other guys that fell in there, Johnny. Are you comfortable with that?
I think I'd quite like to see another out and out number 9. I've got no idea who, by the way. I'm not going to start throwing any names at who we should sign. But because half the players get signed these days, I see them getting signed for players. Like, who the hell is he? Never heard of him. But I think with Ajeti moving out today, I think we might have been waiting. Just get rid of him and get him off the books, and let's get somebody else in. And he might have somebody lined up, but I think they may well do, because as you were saying earlier on, Terry, you were kind of panicking when you thought Giakoumakis was injured, might go off. What if Kyogo comes on, gets injured, has to go off? We had that last year, all right. But it wasn't Giakoumakis. It was Ajeti got injured was it in the European game, or was it a European game against St. Johnstone or something? When Ajeti got injured, so we had done his hamstring, so we brought on not fully fit Kyogo. He got injured.
I think it was St. Johnstone, so I think
I think he was.
Kyogo.
And then we were struggling big time, and that was the lead up to Christmas, and we were struggling big time. We got through it, but we don't want that again.
Yeah, well, Ange, I think that's a brilliant point, Johnny, because see, actually, before kickoff today, Andrew nipped Rob McLean pretty quickly because he says, "Oh, I take it with 9 changes, you've got your eyes on the other 2 games." He goes, "No, my eyes have only been on tonight. I've got a big squad, and I will not make the same mistake I did last season." This is how Ange described it. I won't make the same mistake I did last season by playing the same players too many times and picking up injuries. Now, deep down, I think we all know why Ange had to do that. It was default. The squad wasn't as heavy as it is now, and there wasn't as many apples from the tree that you could pick. But I love Ange taking responsibility on it. I fucking think that's just him at his best, when he's like, I don't know, I probably did overplay them. That's why he's alluding to the hamstring injuries, obviously. That's what he's getting at, I do think, though, with the options we've got, I think that there could come a time Celtic play with maybe even without a number 9 this season. And I know it gets a bit pretentious, but I think they could. I think with the options that are there, Ange will be like, just swap about, just interchange up in that area. I think they've got the players to do that now. The one thing that we definitely know, though, is with this squad, when you take Kyogo out and you bring in chaos, you get chaos, Terry. He's finishing. He's actually had a couple of opportunities with it, with headers. I think he skied on over the bar after about 5 minutes. What I've realised with the Celtic team when we go forward is chaos and Kyogo are 2 completely different focal points. But how we get the ball there, I'm telling you right now, if you were trying to stop this, you have to stop whoever it is that's playing that through ball for whoever it is that's doing the overlap and run wide. So see whoever's doing the cutback for Celtic, Terry, has got the easiest job in the world. It's that pass before it. I seen it tonight. Ralston to Picha one at one point, and I thought, this is that pass there. I think it's from that inverted fullback position, albeit it's not always necessarily the fullback who's in that position. But it's that pass there that takes out their midfield and their fullback, if you like. And then we play the cutback. The cutback's on a plate for the striker, and it's easy. But it's that pass you need to master stopping Celtic at. And we've got guys doing it all over the pitch. Kyogo has been taking his opportunities. He's scoring goals for fun. Giakoumakis, it's his first start of the season. He doesn't score the easy ones tonight, which isn't like him. He skied on over the bar, as I say. There was a header I thought he could have been better with. Then he takes his goal, though. That switch to the left boot. He doesn't think, and that's why, even though I know you were disappointed there wasn't just one touch, Terry, but see the actual style of that finish. It's all impulsive. See, everything he's doing there is just impulsive. When Giakoumakis doesn't think, Giakoumakis scores. That is chaos.
I think even if you rewind that goal back, Boise, then and look at some of the things you were saying there about the build-up. So that goal starts with Moritz Jens on the halfway line, and he plays the ball into Ralston, who's kind of like in the number 10 position almost.
I know.
Who then does a kind of back heel almost into Giakoumakis, who then keeps his composure, doesn't slash at it. He needed the touches to create the angle for him to get the finish. It was a lovely goal. He just looks like scoring every game he plays in, and that's a great option either from the start or coming off the bench, because if you need a goal and you're bringing him on, you almost feel you're bringing a goal on, because I was looking at some of his stats, and from the games that he started or the amount of time that he has played in total, he's got the best conversion rate of goals per minute on the park.
It doesn't surprise you to hear that, Terry, though, because we all associate Giakoumakis with goals. Giakoumakis has real gallousness, Johnny, but I'm going to talk about the other new boy and another difficult surname. Haksabanovic comes on, or as Scott Cameron calls him, the Hacksaw. Hacksaw came on. I think he looked a bit gallous, did he not? Within 30 seconds.
He looked like he's got a bit of a sharp edge about him, doesn't he? He was straight in there. I think he's gonna do well for us. I think he looked like he's got one thought in his mind when he gets that ball, and that's get it forward and let's see what we can create. Johnny, seen that the minute he got it, and he looks fast as well.
Johnny, Haksabanovic came on and looked like he was someone that is desperate to make an impression. But you know what? His first experience of being part of the Celtic squad was to sit in the stands at Tannadice as we win 9-0. He then watches us tonight. I think we were 3 goals to the good by the time he comes on. That's 12 goals he's watched, in under 2 matches. So I think he came on with a bit of a point to try and prove as well. Not like I should be involved in this, but I'm going to need to do something, because the way these front three are playing, they play so freely, they play so aggressively, they're creating opportunity after opportunity, or they're taking their chances. You've got to stand out, mate, and to stand out against the options that are going to be in the roles Haksabanovic can feature in, it's going to be difficult for him. I think he came on, though, with a style of play and an attitude I kind of like. I'll be honest, I quite liked what I seen from him.
Oh, I liked it. It was very direct right from the minute he came on. I mean, he's like I say, just direct. You know, he like you said, he's there to make an impression. He wants to be involved, and he knows he's going to have to be fucking good if he's going to be involved. It's like he said on his interview, was it on Sunday when he said, "What can you do?" He said, "Oh, well, to be better, he said score 4 goals instead of 3."
And I think he came on with that attitude, Terry. This is what we want from competition. We were talking about it the weekend, the Leo Labada effect. He came on his first start of the season. He has every right. The young player of the country, mate. He's the young player of the year. Double figures for assists and goals last year. And it took to the 5th game of the season for him to get a start. His attitude was spot on. We see Haksabanovic coming on tonight. Attitude spot on. For any doubts or unconvincing I've been of Aaron Moy, one thing I'll not question since he came in the team or appeared in the team, his attitude seems spot on. Tony Ralston tonight, Terry. 2 assists. His first appearance of the season. You know, attitude spot on. So what does it all mean? Yes, we're through our first test in defending the League Cup. We've got through it. We've won away for Ross County for the 2nd time, actually, this season. We have another away tie, Terry. Motherwell this time. Obviously, they've already sacked a manager and appointed a manager in his first ever managerial gig, Stephen Hamill. They scored 4, I think it was, tonight against Inverness. For Park, you know, one of those places, some up and down memories, shall we say, Terry, you know. An away draw, League Cup, our away form's not bad this year, though, is it?
No, our away form's been excellent. If you actually look at probably, and I don't even want to say disappointing, but probably the 2 home games that we've had against Aberdeen and Hearts were probably the 2 games where we haven't really hit the heights in any games that we've played this season. I know we won both of them, but it just wasn't as free flowing as it has been in the the away games. Hopefully that all changes on Saturday. Yeah, you're saying about Ralston there, absolutely no surprise. I mean, that'll be not a surprise to anybody because, you know, going into this season, I thought the two of them were neck and neck, and actually myself thought Ralston would have started the season, just given that Juranovic had played quite a bit of international football during the summer and just looked a little bit in need of a bit of a rest, but he got the nod. I think what tonight's lineup, I mean, I know you've said Ange likes to spring a surprise. He doesn't with his first 11. I think Saturday's first 11 is pretty much nailed on now, just from watching tonight's game.
Oh, Johnny, that is bold chat from Terry. Before we get Terry's nailed on starting lineup, which we're going to need to do now you've said that, do you think it's as straightforward as Terry's making out, Johnny, based on what we've seen tonight? I don't.
No, because I had a little go at predicting who would play tonight, going on the assumption of 11 changes. I put it on our chat, and I think it was 3 out. To try and guess who he's going to play is just going to be impossible. To be honest, I didn't quite catch all of what Terry said there because I was busy reading what Phil DeMarco had put down in one of the comments there, because that sounded quite exciting as well.
Yeah. Well, I know that. I know Phil DeMarco was suggesting that we play 3 kind of more narrow up top and we use the fullbacks for the width. It's another way to skin a cat, and I'm all for that. Terry, you think this is nailed on the starting 11, mate? This is why you're on P.M.P. It's bold calls like this, mate. They make or break you, big boy.
There was only one. Going into tonight's match, I thought there was only 2. There was the second centre half, and whether it's Abada or Maeda. So I'm going to nail my colours to the mast. Hart, Juranovic, Carter Vickers, Starfelt, Taylor, McGregor, Riley, Hatate. I'm going to give Abada the nod with Kyogo and Jota. Just the fact that he took Abada off first. I didn't expect to see Abada playing tonight. I thought he might have done enough.
Yeah. When he landed on his head, that was awkward to look at. Eh?
That looked awkward, yeah.
I think Abada versus Maeda for that final spot up front. It wouldn't surprise me if he went with Maeda, but I'm just going to give the nod to Abada. So that's. Could
you run through that again, Terry? Because I wrote mine down earlier on. I just want to see what you went through that too quick.
Hart, Juranovic, Carter Vickers, Starfelt, Taylor.
Yeah, well, I went with Jens and then Taylor.
I think Angel go with Starfelt. McGregor, O'Reilly, Hatate.
Yeah.
Abada, Kyogo, and Jota.
I've got pretty much what you've got, but I went with Jens purely on the fact that he didn't start Starfelt tonight and the fact that Starfelt's only played one game. That's why I went. I thought he's playing Jens tonight. I thought if he played Starfelt from the start tonight, he's in on Saturday. But because he went with Jens, I thought he's going to go with Jens. And then I'm like you. I'm thinking, is he going to go with Abada or Miada?
He's going to go.
Abada scored
I think
3 goals on Saturday. And it's hard to drop a man who's just scored a hat-trick.
But he didn't score. I think he'll go Maeda. I think Maeda's his favourite. I think Mark Kearney touched on it. Maeda, and by the way, of what Maeda does is essential to what Celtic do. I think Abada's got the more class with the ball at his feet. I think there was a moment tonight where Maeda just showed that pace down the left and you thought, fucking hell. But then it actually comes to his touch and it's, the ball's bouncing all over the place. But he does get assists. He's a defender's nightmare as well. The biggest question mark for Maeda is when Maeda plays, he tends to play on the left, and that sacrifices Jota on the left, which I know is what the fans want to see because we feel you get more end product from Jota when he plays on the left. However, my pushback will be: I agree. I think Starfelt will begin, Terry. I think Starfelt's Angie's guy right now. Still, and I think that's why he's been kind of easing him into the team. I think at the weekend when Starfelt got the nod, I thought, Ange was all about consistent back two. You'd have to really knock down the door to get in. And I think the 2 that were rotated today is because it's the other 2 who start on Saturday. It will be Starfelt. I would like it to be Abada. My head tells me though, Kyogo takes Giakoumakis' place, which again I don't find easy to say. But I actually think it will be Maeda who starts the game, and I think you'll see a rotation from right to left for Jota and Maeda until Abada inevitably comes on. But I do think it'll be Maeda who gets the nod up, from the start 11.
What I think really gives us a boost, boys, and I've said this before, is this new 5 subs.
It does help.
5 subs rule has come in. I think with the depth of the squad we've got the strongest starting 11, but we've also got the strongest bench as well. And I think certainly over the course of the season, the squad depth that we have, in virtually every position, the guy going off to be replaced, the guy that's coming on can be completely trusted to perform on a similar level. I think it's very, very much in Celtic's favour.
And part of the reason for that, Terry, when these guys come on, it's because they know they're coming on. They're saying, because they talked about it on Saturday when we brought the subs on, we scored 5 goals in the second half. But when we brought the subs on, it didn't dip. It stayed exactly as it was. That's because these guys are all coming on saying, if I'm going to get in this team and start next Saturday or next Wednesday, whenever it is, I've got to hit the level these guys have been hitting today. And that's why it's seamless. They just come on and they perform at exactly the same level. There is no drop.
I thought it did
dip. They're busting a gut to get in that team.
I thought it did dip for 5-10 minutes, which is natural because they're not just getting a touch of the ball. And then I thought, what I love to see, Johnny the Wids, I take your point, then we ramped it back up again. And the players then, what I love is when they're coming off the bench, they don't just go, we're 5-6-0 up. Just get some touches in the ball, try and impress someone, look good. They're all fighting for the same cause, it seems, right now. And I did see that. I think inevitably, if you make 4 changes at once, you know what I mean, you're going to see a slight dip. But I agree with you. I thought the intensity thing, I thought it came back. And I think that's quite special when you see that with that raft of subs getting made. It does play into Celtic's hands. But again, this is why we go back to the point we've made all summer long. Celtic need a strong squad, not just a strong first 11. The only other debatable position for Saturday would be the fullback one, and it is Ralston or Juranovic. I think Juranovic had a very steady start to the season, Terry. I think he's undeniably a poster boy for a lot of our the younger elements of our support. Tony Ralston, 1 start, 2 assists. It's hard to argue, eh?
What a backup option.
Aye. Well,
I think
agree with that.
I know what you're saying there, Boise, but I think it will be Juranovic who starts.
Me too.
Because Tony's good. In fact, I put it down. He had a couple of moments today. Well, one of them was when the back heel setting up the goal, but after about 25 minutes, 30 minutes, he had this lovely little turn out on the wing, and I thought, fucking hell, if Messi had done that, we'd all be raving about it. And that was Ralston. And I thought, bloody hell.
I think his final ball as well.
So he's a big lad. But he has got some finesse about him when he wants it,
I just think his final ball as well, though. And that's the end product bit. Is so key.
That's definitely where he's better than Juranovic, with the final ball and the cross. Definitely.
It's impressive. It very much is. Anyway, guys, that's been 45 minutes. It's a midweek night. Let's get everyone off to bed. It has been great fun having you guys on. Celtic are through the first, defence of their first trophy that they won under Ange Postecoglou has been navigated safely. Just another 4 goals. So it was a bit of a damp squib the night, guys. Only 4 goals away from home for the Scottish champions. We will be playing away again in the next round of the Premier Sports Cup, and that'll be away to Fir Park, Motherwell. We'll take another 4 for that. We're going to be back tomorrow night for the TNF. Conor McCann is abroad, so he might not be able to make it, but don't you worry. Everyone's favourite pantomime villain, Mark Kearney, is joining me for the TNF at the very least tomorrow. So get the Star Wars music. Dun, 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 dun. Anyway, Mark Kearney joins me tomorrow night. Nostalgia is back Friday. Saturday is going to be one hell of a post-match pish after the Glasgow derby. And if all things go to plan, we will have a Sunday session on the bus for the first time this season. Thank you so much, Johnny Logue, Terry Robb, for joining me on a Wednesday night. It has been great fun. Thanks to everyone in the comments. Over 150 live. Please hit the like button. Please hit subscribe. Help the channel grow. If you want to become a member, it's up to you. Good night.
See ya.
Some of his comments about me deliberately trying to cause controversy. Well, I work in the media now. And you've got someone sitting there next to you who's an embarrassment to the media profession. He's an apologist. He's a charlatan.